So welcome back to part 2 of our draft day doubleheader. And I gotta tell you, I love draft day. I really do. I'm not the biggest football fan in the world. I like football, but I don't live and die by it. I enjoy it. And what's weird is, as I've stated in the previous review, I don't even follow college football. So I don't know who half of these players are. Like, no clue who they are. So I don't know who's getting a good pick. I don't know if my teams are, getting anybody good, judging by their records over the past couple years. I'm going to assume not. But I don't know. There's something about it. Something about that energy and just being there, seeing these people backstage, and they get that call and they're so excited and all that. I don't know. Just something really entertaining. I kind of wish every profession hired people like that. I wish when I was getting ready to get hired for my job, and with the number 3 pick, White Station selects Brandon Lawrence, theater teacher. Oh, me! Oh, but yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch. But it does kind of make you wonder sometimes about what goes into it. What goes into making those selections, weighing what's best for your team. It goes into math and statistics and things sports math, that I am woefully ignorant on. But you got to imagine it's a stressful time and an exciting time for the folks who make those calls. And as always, if something even sounds slightly dramatic, eventually Hollywood will find a way to make a movie out of it. And in 2014, they did with Draft Day. This is the most recent movie I've done on this so far. You can tell because this is a Blu-ray and not a regular DVD version. So there you go. I got to tell you before I start, I love this movie. I love this movie so much. It's a few years before I started doing DHR, so I never reviewed it in the theater. I didn't even see it in the theater. I saw it on an airplane for the first time, honestly. But I fucking love it. I really fucking love it. It's a great movie. So what is it about? Well, it's about draft day. It's about the day of the NFL draft. Specifically, let's be specific. So Kevin Costner plays Sonny Weaver Jr., who's the general manager of the Cleveland Browns. And through happenstance and making a very bold trade, he ends up with the number 1 pick in the draft, which everyone is assuming is going to be this hotshot quarterback that everybody's kind of drooling over. So now he has to decide who is he going to take. And of course, everybody wants him to take that quarterback, or most people do. But he's unsure about him. He doesn't quite know why, but something about the guy doesn't ring right. In the meantime, he's got other prospective draft picks, a defensive player played by a pre-Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. He's got a young kid, a young running back whose father played for Cleveland, and he wants to play for Cleveland, but who got into a little trouble in the off season. While this is going on, he's gotten his girlfriend, Jennifer Garner, pregnant, so he's dealing with that. His father recently passed away. He's dealing with that. So it's all these things coming in on and bowling this guy down during probably one of the most stressful days in a general manager's existence. Also hanging over him again, that thing of the owner of the team wants him to, quote unquote, make a splash, or else he's going to get fired, basically. So he's got all this and the potential of his job going away, bearing down on him. So it's what all can happen in one single day. I like stories like that. This isn't a widespread thing. It's like, here's one important day. In playwriting, one of the first things they always ask you is, okay, why is the day we're watching these characters, why is it different than every other day? How is it special? And in this case, obviously, draft day, everyone's life is going to be affected. whoever they bring in is going to be affected. If they bring in this new quarterback, what's going to happen to the steady quarterback that they've got, who's been working hard for them? What are they going to do with him? And I think what most intrigues me about this movie is, I don't know, the dealing, the wheeling and dealing, if you do this, I'm going to do this, the point and counterpoint, the move and counter move that these GMs and whatnot must have to go through every year with this kind of thing to try to make sure that they get the best players. And they even bring it up in the movie, you can do all this, but in the end, it's a crapshoot. I mean, they bring it up. Jennifer Garner has a great line in there about who would have thought Tom Brady would have gone 100 and something in the draft, whereas the guy who did go number one, everybody was high on, but nobody knows who he is now. You know, so it's all of this. It's also kind of scary when you realize that they're really playing with people's lives. You know, they're trading people and stats like they're cattle almost. It's really, it has that kind of moment in there too. You're like, wow, this is going to affect people's lives. Bringing someone new in, shifts up everybody else. It's a rough thing. I mean, I wouldn't like to go into work on, whenever we go back to work, and have my principal call me and say, by the way, we've traded you to another school. It's like, did you get draft picks for it? Anyway. But it's really well filmed and well structured in the wheeling and dealing of who gets what trade, who gets, what player. Kevin Costner trying to figure out what it is about this quarterback kid that bugs him, and there's something. We never quite get a full story, but you kind of just get the feeling he's kind of a douche as a person, and that bugs Kevin Costner. We never come right out and say it, but the evidence kind of points that way. Very 12 Angry Men in that respect. You're given facts, but you're also given facts that are refuted or disproved by other people. So you're never quite sure where the truth is, and you just kind of have to go with your gut, which is, again, the point of the movie. Pretty good performances all the way around. Again, Kevin Costner has never been my favorite actor. I've always found him a little bit robotic in his delivery and his performances, but he's pretty good here as a grumpy guy trying to do a single job and concentrate on a single job while everyone else is just kind of running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Or he's got people like the head coach, played by Dennis Leary, undermining him. He really sells it and does a great job. You could see this guy as the head of a football team. Big ups to Jennifer Garner as well. Jennifer Garner is an underrated actor, I think. I think she's got a lot of good points, and I don't know if it's just the movies she gets in that doesn't quite prove that, but she really is an interesting screen presence, and I like her character here. She plays, I listed her as Kevin Costner's girlfriend, which is unfair. She actually plays, I guess, the salary manager of the team, and I like that they put her up there, and she says, I'm a football fan. I love this game, but I wasn't born into it, and since I'm a woman, I have to work even harder to even be anywhere near it, and working we're in it. But she's just as knowledgeable as the guys. She offers advice and counsel with trades and things. So she's not just the girl, ooh, the football. No, they don't treat her that way. Well, they do, and then she immediately rebuffs them. But she is not one of those. The supporting cast is pretty good. It's kind of a who's who. Got a lot of great actors in there. Dennis Leary as the new coach they've brought in, who's kind of this obnoxious jackass. Big stretch for Dennis Leary, I know, but he plays it well. Franklin Jella is the owner of the team, who's kind of lording over Kevin Costner. Sam Elliott has like a 2-second cameo in this as the coach, a college coach who's coaching the number one prospect in the draft, and is saying, no, he's a good kid, don't worry about him. You know, Chadwick Boseman, again, pre Black Panther, playing another prospect, a defensive player who's trying to get Sonny's attention to go, hey, you should draft me first. I have to go high so I get a higher paycheck. You know, don't draft this kid. So yeah, I don't know how else to really describe this movie. It's really tight. It's well written. The actors are all going. It's at a good pace. You know, I'm never bored by it. It's exciting. It's interesting. It holds your attention. Yeah, it gives you a look into a world that you're not really, no matter how much of a sports fan you are, if you're not in the room in anything, you don't know what really goes on. So, I love that. I don't know quite what else to say about this in terms of the positives, other than I love it, and you should go watch it. Negatives. Is this movie perfect? No, it's not. I think they're a little too heavy-handed with Sonny's two choices for the number one pick. Now, we're shown, again, it's handled in a very 12 Angry Men kind of way, where we're given information, but people rebuke it or they can't prove it, so that you kind of have to go with your gut feeling like Sonny does. But they're a little too heavy-handed that, you know, you can tell right away this quarterback kid is a smarmy bastard. You can just tell right away. Meanwhile, Chadwick Boseman's character, seemingly the more, you know, I hate to use this term, the rougher around the edges. You know, his phone has like brass knuckles on it. You know, he's not the poster boy. He's not the white boy. Let's just be fair here. He's not the prim and pretty white boy. You know, but, you know, he did everything to take, he needs a higher draft pick and a higher paycheck to take care of his sister's two kids, because she died, and he's you know, looking out for them. You know, you get it's a little too heavy-handed of, you know, the whole don't judge a book by its cover thing. You know, just a little. I think they could have been a little bit more vague in some of it, just a bit. But it still works. Both characters work very well. The only thing I really hate about this movie is the editing. The editing is done in this weird way. You know how sometimes when they do a movie, they have two guys on the phone. So this movie's a lot of people on the phone. You know, you watch an older movie or something like 24, what they'll do is they'll have one person on the phone here and the other person on the phone up in the split screen, talking, and, you know, so you can see both people and see them both reacting at the same time. That's how you normally do it. This film does these weird cuts and these weird flip screens where the screen is moving and it's like going up and down, and the people are crossing over into each other's scenes, and sometimes it's cool because it looks like they're in the same room talking, but it's incredibly distracting. You get the feeling that they did this, Ivan Reitman, the director, you get the feeling he did this so that the film had a feeling of constantly moving, because it is a very talky movie. So you get the feeling that they're doing it to kind of keep the pace up, but I don't think you needed it. It was an interesting enough movie, and what was going on is really well done. I don't need camera tricks and shit to keep me interested in it. I don't need the visual flair. In truth, the visual flair kind of, it makes you nauseous a little bit. So yeah, not a fan of the editing. That's only the real big thing I can come up with to bitch about this movie, and everything else is great. Okay, real quick. I did this in the last one. These football movies have some similarities. I did 6 Degrees of the Buffyverse in the last one. Are you ready for 6 Degrees of the Arrowverse? So, playing one of the assistant coaches helping with the draft is David Ramsey, better known in the Arrowverse as John Diggle, the heart and soul of the Arrowverse. Great actor. He does a great job in this. You know who's playing the current quarterback for the Browns in this? Tom Welling. Smallville's Superman, or rather Smallville's Clark Kent. So, haha, DC universes crossing over well before Final Crisis. Real quick, I gotta go off on a tangent here, real fast. I loved the Final Crisis crossover that the Arrowverse did. And when they said Tom Welling was going to come back for a guest star, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, we finally get to see him in his Superman outfit. Yes, we do. And then they say the scene that he's in is written by the folks who wrote Smallville. Like, yes, let's do this. Not that I was a fan of Smallville, but I wanted to see him in the Superman outfit. It's what it was building to, and they never did it. So it was like, come on. So they go to that scene, and what do we find out? In the Smallville universe, Clark Kent has given up his Superman powers and he's just a regular fucking guy. Nothing like one last fuck you from the creators of Smallville to the fans. Thanks for that. Again, I kind of hated Smallville, to be honest, but it's one of those things. I watched the last episode. You're like, all right, we're going to see him in the uniform. No. Anyway, and Tom Welling does a good job in this. He's only in like 2 scenes, but he does a pretty good job. Kind of makes you wish, he'd do a little bit more. People would give him a little bit more of a chance. He's a decent enough actor. I wish I could go on and on about this one, but I don't know quite what else to say. It's just a really good movie. If I was reviewing films back then, it probably would have been my movie of the year, most likely. It's that good. Let me put it this way, and it says it in the description, but I can't oversell this enough. This is a movie that makes the idea of playing for the Cleveland Browns seem exciting. Think about that. It makes the idea of playing for the Cleveland Browns something you really want to do. And I can guarantee you, every person waiting for that draft is not going, Lord, please let Cleveland take me. Just making a guess. I could be wrong. Maybe there's some dieharders out there. Not to offend the diehard Browns fan, but I mean, come on. But the movie's so good, it makes you think for a minute, man, playing for the Browns are going to be great this year. Anyway, I feel like I should be saying more about this film, but I really can't. It's good. It's really good. Acting is good. Writing is good. The drama is good. Characters are good. It's just good. I don't know what else to say. Draft it. Make it your number 1 pick. That's a crappy line, but I'm saying it. All right, so that is my draft day doubleheader. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, for those of you who are watching, hope you enjoy the draft. Hope it gives you that kind of sports buzz we're all looking for. As for the movie buzz, that's why I'm here. That's why Forgotten Gems is here. We got lots to talk about and lots more to go. So as always, keep calm and carry on, and drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.